Hello everyone, it has been a while. When did I upload the last video? So Inside Out 2 recently came out. I just watched it and here I'm making this video as a review to this sequel. Personally, I don't like to see company keep producing sequels. Like I get it, it's their strategy, it's a safer option because at least you can assure the old fans will come back. But I always had this thought that if a company cannot think of a good story for a sequel, just leave the previous ones alone, okay? Producing bad sequels only makes your fans disappointed and be less supportive. Oh, and I heard some news about Megamind 2 as well. So how was Inside Out 2? Really good, but not as good as the first one, but the perfect sequel for Inside Out characters. I agree with this commentary. There are two main reasons why I prefer the first one. Number one is that the world inside Riley's head is more well presented in the first film. We get to see, oh, so this is where dreams are made. This is the place where long-term memories are stored. Seeing how they visualize human brain activities is an important reason why the first film is interesting. And in the sequel, I feel less of that element compared to the first one. But this is just from my point of view, of course. Feel free to share your idea if you have different ones. Number two is that my own memories when I was a teenager, at some degree, are disconnected from what Riley experienced in this film. So I cannot put myself in her shoes that much when I only watch this movie for once. But this is something I do quite a lot. When I watched Soul the first time, I didn't get it either. It took me about 2 to 3 years to start feeling relatable to that movie. So maybe when I come back and watch Inside Out 2 a few years later, I'll feel different as well. However, there are still some parts that I can relate to, especially the giant plot twist where we find out the new sense of self anxiety created for her was, I'm not good enough. I shared some similar experiences in the past, and I'll talk about that later in this video. And also, because I saw some comments saying, get rid of this little shit, I want to share my own ideas about if anxiety is needed for us as well. Before we move on to that part, there are some interesting comments and memes about this film that I want to make a reaction to. Joy in Inside Out 2. I don't know how to stop anxiety. Maybe that's what happens when you grow up. You feel less joy. Inside Out 2 wasn't supposed to be a documentary. Accurate. I feel like 80% of the time when I'm laughing, I'm looking at memes. Only memes can make me feel happy now. Pathetic. Oh my god, that's Fregry. Oh. Does anyone still remember this guy?
Wanna see my secret freckle?
Oh great, so this is one of those things that once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Thank you. Me at the theater for Inside Out 2. Really? I doubt these little kids can understand the moral of this movie, to be honest. As someone who studied animation in college, it's always a big red flag when someone tell me that, oh, animation is for kids, it's for fun. Ha ha ha. From my personal point of view, I feel like what Inside Out 2 tried to discuss, this whole thing of sense of self, its depth is very close to Pixar's previous movie, Soul, where they have this discussion of what's the purpose, what's the meaning of life. And you really cannot understand that philosophy after reaching a certain age. The most important thing everyone should know about Inside Out 2 is that the dad is still so hot. Oh, so first simping for Elastic Girl and now Riley's dead as well?
Ugh, this is just embarrassing. I can't.
If I find out that this comes from that group of people that's saying furries are disgusting, I'll be so pissed. What the f? First look at anxiety in Inside Out 2, voiced by Maya Hawke. There's like 5 of these in my brain. Lucky you, I have 10 of these in my brain. How about that? The worst part is that usually they become more active when I'm about to sleep. So goodbye my nice sleep. Hello insomnia. Yay. Inside Out 2 without context. The rest of them I understand, but can someone explain to me what's happening in the first image? I don't really get it. What's the punchline here? The new emotion we got versus the new emotion we need. Oh well, for anyone who is wondering what's inside a furry's head, here you go. Riley's anxiety versus my anxiety. Why do I hear Dark Soul Boss music? Why is there a meme reference in Inside Out 2? Why are you complaining, okay? I love how memes have become so important that they merge into a lot of art creations. I rewatched Attack on Titans recently, and do you even realize how many memes Isayama-san put into his comics? And that it's brilliant and hilarious. Stop complaining. Yes! This is the most disappointing thing I found with this film, okay? Where's horny? The most important emotion after puberty. Come on. If horny don't show up in Inside Out 3, I'll be so angry. One of the biggest plot twists in this film is that Riley's new sense of self turned out to be I'm not good enough. And this is also the part where a lot of audience heart shattered. I personally had went through a similar pace when I entered college. As you know, I went to an art school, but before that, I was just a regular high school student who didn't take much art class and purely just drew doodles for fun. And after I became a college student, I noticed that almost all the classmates around me have received proper art-related training for a long time, and they have far more talent and skills than me. And back in that period, I genuinely had this idea stuck in my head, like, why did those professors pick me? I'm not even supposed to be here. We are different. I'm not even worthy of standing as an equal with the other classmates. I remember in one class, the professor asked all of us to demonstrate our works on the screen so that everybody could see what each other had created. After the class, I went back to the dormitory, muffled my face in a pillow and started crying. I feel like I keep crying for about 10 to 15 minutes. So yeah, I do understand the feeling of not being good enough. However, about audience's hatred against anxiety, I don't think we actually need to hate or completely deny its existence. It is okay to consider ourselves not good enough. It's an essential motivation for us to improve ourselves. Just don't let this one idea fully identify who we are. Then it should be fine. Generally, I think this is a good sequel, worth watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I need to make this disclaimer. It's totally fine whether you agree with me or not. We can have different opinions on something, and that's a reason why this world is interesting. That's about it. Bye!